So, what do you do if you find yourself in a position where you are an educator or a working professional and the position that you're working in is just not fulfilling for you anymore? Or maybe you work for an employer that just doesn't appreciate you, doesn't appreciate the work that you do, they devalue you, or maybe it just doesn't pay enough or it doesn't really pay you what you're worth. And let me tell you, as an educator, I don't think any job is going to ever fully pay you what you're worth because you are worth so much. Well, I'm Gerard Anderson. I'm a school social worker of over 20 years, and I'm a financial social work coach. And that's what I want to talk to you about in this webinar. Back during maybe 2001, I was just finishing up grad school, and I was so excited because the place where I was interning at, they offered me a job, and I was just so excited to get my first real full-time career position coming out of grad school. But I made one pivotal mistake. I did not check to see what the salary was going to be. So I took the job and I was excited. And when I finally got around to asking my salary, I was expecting to make around $40,000, only to realize that my beginning salary was going to be $23,000 with a master's degree. Reason being that they only paid social workers on the classified scale in that particular state. So, needless to say, I was pretty devastated because I put in all of this work, like over 20 years of education, only to come up with a job that still paid me like I didn't even go to school. And so, that was a really hard period. But my thought process was, I'm gonna just work, get some experience, and I'm gonna move to another state. Well, to add insult to injury, that same job they laid me off after the first year. They laid me off, and they said, "Due to budget cuts, we got to let you go." And last hire, first fire. And so, man, I was really devastated, and I lost all confidence in this. Well, just if you go to school, get your education, get a job, everything is going to be okay. So I found out real quick that that's not always the case. So, make a long story short, I went almost a year without having any employment, still living at home with my parents. I had a car that was over 20 years old, so I couldn't even travel to look for jobs in the other states. So essentially, I was stuck. And I promise you, that was probably the toughest year of my life. But during that time, I learned something that changed my life forever. And that's what I want to share with you during this webinar. I learned to look within and tap into the skills, the potential, and the talents that I had on the inside of me. And as a result of going through that year experience, it didn't happen overnight, but I ended up writing my first book. I ended up becoming a speaker. I ended up creating courses. I became a coach, a lot of the stuff that I'm doing now. And it all came out of what I learned as a result of being off that year. So, in this webinar, I'm going to show you exactly, I call it the Wealth DNA framework. I'm going to show you exactly what I learned, and I'm going to show you how you can tap in to what you have on the inside of you and change your whole life. Doesn't matter what your current pay is, doesn't matter your current position. If you could just learn to tap in on the potential and what you have on the inside of you, it can change your life forever. And in this webinar, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how you can do it too. So go ahead and click the registration form, click the link and register and reserve your spot, and you get all the information that you need about the date and the time of the webinar. And I'll have some things for you to do even up until the time the webinar starts. So go ahead and register, and I look forward to helping you transform your life so that you don't have to be limited or stuck to your pay, your position, or your job title. All right, go ahead and register, and I'll see you on the webinar.